Hey everybody, so I'm trying something a little bit different. I think I've done it before in the past where I tried using headphones, but I hadn't done like all the research yet. So what I went ahead and did is just kind of keep it simple and play videos, and if I wanted to talk I would unmute myself, play the video, that kind of thing, because without my headphones for sure I know that if I play a video and I unmute myself, the video starts to echo. So I'm going to play a video we're going to watch right now that I found. All these videos, by the way, are from yesterday and what I could find from today as of about an hour ago. So these are all pretty new. Well, they're new. I'll go ahead and play a video right now, and then once more people come into the room, I kind of wanted to get your opinion about what it sounds like now that I have headphones on. If I play a video and try to talk over it, does it still echo? But we'll do that later. So let's watch this first clip that I found. It's from, let me grab a date here, from yesterday. It's courtesy of KHOU 11. Hi everybody entering the room. We're going to go ahead and jump into this first clip. It's called Neighbors Rescue Mama Dog 4 Puppies from North Houston Storm Drain. Hi Lisa, thank you so much for being here. Let's go ahead and watch this clip.
He needs love. Want his love? Be careful. Did you get her? No. No, not yet. Can you find me? No. Okay, no. I don't think she's going to leave. She's with her puppy. This is me and you, girl. This is me and you, okay? Don't go too far in. I got her. She got her. She got her. Grab her feet. Grab her feet. You want to hold her? I don't think we need this. I have gloves. She's not fighting. Oh my goodness. Yeah, let's do that. Hold on. Need a guy. Hey, somebody grab that. I need a guy. Here, get it, Danny. Help her, Danny. I'm ready to grab. Oh, no. Just need Sabrina. Hold on. Go back. No. It's in my eyes. Time it. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how. Time it. I have no idea how to do this. Don't let her off. Don't touch her. We need something. Like, literally a guy. It's okay, baby. It's okay. This is for the puppy. One of the big the puppies. I know. Just don't let her calm down. Yeah. Let her put her head around. Once she sees her puppy, she'll calm down.
Okay, so the volume was low on the video. How do I sound? I should sound about the same as before because I'm using the same microphone. I was just trying to see if there's a way that I could play videos and just talk over them without having to mute myself, if I can. But here we'll do another test. But right now we're watching this video. This woman just rescued a mama dog and she's gonna go back in and try to get the puppies. Hi Danielle. Hi Nicolette. Thank you so much for being here. I'm just trying something different as far as like the audio goes here. So let me know now how the volume is. I did raise it up. So yes, let's go ahead and keep watching this video.
I have to go deep in there. They're further back than you. How many? 4 puppies. Do we have a crate? 4 puppies coming through.
Sorry, guys. I'm here.
How many got? Just 4.
We got that one.
She's not gonna get put to death. We're gonna take care of her. No, we're good. Oh, she's got her. Okay, right here. Right here.
Thank God.
Oh my God. What is
Aw, right when they were going, oh my God, look at the That's exactly what I did. That was so cute. Let's go ahead and just take that out. Thank you so much for helping me with the audio issues. I went ahead and went to my phone to see how it sounds, and I think it sounds pretty good. I raised it all the way, I raised the volume all the way up, and it got kind of loud, so I think I'm good with that. But here in a bit, we'll watch a video, and then I'm going to test what it sounds like if I try to just play a video and talk over it. So the first video clips that I ended up finding are all pretty serious, so let me go ahead and put my serious viewer discretion is advised banner. We have a couple of child deaths and some assaults to cover, and remember, these are all clips from the last couple of days. I even grabbed some from today, but those are going to be over here at the bottom. So the good thing is that they're somewhat in order, like by you know, time that they were released. So this next one is called Dansville Man Charged with Sexual Assault Against a Child, First Degree Rape, and that's going to be courtesy of WETM 18 News.
Man is behind bars tonight, charged with multiple felonies after an investigation into the sexual assaults of multiple children. 42-year-old Donnie Rawlinson is charged with predatory sexual assault against a child, rape, and sexual misconduct. According to the Livingston County Sheriff's Office, in the summer of 2014, Rawlinson allegedly had sex with a child less than 13 years of age.
No, he did not have sex with a child less than 13 years of age. He raped, violated, and took the innocence of a baby. I mean, I know that the news doesn't want to like alarm anybody or maybe not get too graphic with things, but they need to be honest about what's going on. Blurred lines like this is how come people, men like this, women too, excuse themselves from doing the worst to children. So I just want to go ahead and stop and make sure that we are all on the same page here. He did not have sex with a 13-year-old child. He raped and molested a 13-year-old child. It is disgusting, Lisa. It is really disgusting. And if it's true what they do to these types of predators in jail, I hope the worst happens to him. And I hope we get to hear about it too. And if it does, you know that I will cover it. I don't care how uncomfortable it is to cover it, but some things, you know, need to be told.
And subjected another child who is also less than 13 years of age to sexual contact.
A second child less than 13 years of age.
The victims came forward to law enforcement in March of this year.
Well, if he keeps up, you know, saying not guilty and ends up in court, you know, we'll be there to cover it and make sure that they do everything they can within. I mean, it sucks because, like, I want to say, yeah, fuck this guy and, you know, for the worst to happen to him, but the reality is he could be put through the system and then given protection. We don't even know what kind of deals he's going to be making behind the scenes, and they won't even say a lot of the times. Next thing you'll hear is like, oh, everyone agreed to a plea deal, and who even knows what that is included. A lot of the times I don't think we get to find out the whole story. But we'll keep an eye on it. Let's go ahead and continue. Now, this next story, I heard about it. Let me see. Just give me 1 second while I look up that information. I don't want to, like, half-ass it. But his name is James Hutchinson, and he is a child death. Sorry if that was loud. I remember last time I also did that. My keyboard's really loud. Okay, so it says that the mother is Brittany Gosney. She was indicted March 5th after police say she admitted to investigators that she killed her 16-year-old son James Hutchinson and dumped his body in the Ohio River. The children were outside Gosney's minivan when James tried getting back inside. She was going to leave him at the park. I don't know what happened at home, but somehow they all eventually ended up in the same vehicle, and she started driving around, and she went to the park. I'm starting to remember more about this. And she, I guess, threw him out of the vehicle, and he tried to get back in, and according to her, I think she dragged him. And I don't know if that's how he passed away or if she did like extra things after that, but according to her, she dumped his body in the river, and they haven't been able to find it. And we have an update on that situation. So let's go ahead and take a look. It's called Middleton mother charged in 6-year-old son's death ruled competent to stand trial. And this is courtesy of WLWT. So yeah, last live stream I did, an ad popped up and it had a song by John Denver on it. I didn't know because I don't listen to John Denver like that. And they did like a copyright like over monetization. So it was part of an ad. So it wasn't even anything that I was trying to present. It was something that they themselves put in there. So I went ahead and just had it trimmed out because it wasn't really part of the live stream. Well, it wasn't intended to be part of the live stream. So if you ever go back and see like and try to look at the old live streams and there's some parts that are like muted, it's probably because I made the choice to trim something out because I don't know. I just thought it was just kind of crazy that I have like a copyright claim and I didn't even intend for it to be there. They're the ones who threw that in there. But let's go ahead and watch this next clip.
We're on the record in the state of Ohio versus Brittany Ghazi.
The trial of a mother accused of murdering her son, 6-year-old James Hutchinson, will be moving forward. A psychologist evaluated Brittany Ghazi, and her findings were handed over to Judge Noah Powers today.
Based upon the joint exhibit, the court makes a finding that the defendant is competent to stand trial.
Powers summarized several of the psychologist's findings.
Well, the defendant's history and presentation suggest an underlying personality disorder marked by antisocial features. She's not considered to have a severe mental illness.
Powers says Ghazni understands the seriousness of the charges against her. The 29-year-old mother is accused of hog-tying her 3 children, then attempting to abandon them at a park in Preble County in the middle of the night. Investigators say sometime during that attempt, she killed her youngest, 6-year-old James. She then is accused of putting his body in her car along with her other 2 living children and driving back to their home in Middletown. Investigators say Ghazni and her boyfriend, James Hamilton, then tied a concrete block around her son's body before throwing him into the Ohio River. Despite numerous searches, the child's body has not yet been recovered. And Ghazni is due back in court next month, where a trial date will be set. James Hamilton is also scheduled to appear on the same day. Reporting live tonight in Butler County, Karen Johnson, WLWT News 5.
That's awful. I will go ahead and continue any updates that have to do with James Hutchinson because that's really heartbreaking. I didn't even know that she hogtied her other kids during this whole process. Hi Terrence Bain, how's it going? Hope you're having a good day. Preach, hello. Thank you so much for joining us. We're watching these really sad stories that I found from the past couple of days. They're not all going to be sad, but the way they were organized or the way they were like put together just felt a certain way. So it's like a little cluster of like sad stories before we get into like something not so serious. They used to have the option where I could rearrange the playlist and I could just kind of control how videos were going to be shown a little bit more organized, but they took that option off as soon as I started using it. So I'm just going to go ahead and just play them as I see them. Let's see. Sorry Danielle, I don't mean to make you cry. I know it's rough, but it's really important that we talk about these stories, and I know you're always around to find out what's happening in the world, and you're a strong lady. Nicolette, thank you so much for being here. You're always just a really good addition to have in the chat because you always speak your mind and you're not afraid. Let's watch this next clip. It's going to be sad too. It's involving the death of a child. It's called Man Charged in Death of Hawkins County 5-month-old. It's going to be courtesy of WBIR Channel 10.
A man in Hawkins County faces a first-degree murder charge in the death of an infant. 24-year-old Dominic Liberto also faces charges of aggravated child neglect and child abuse tied to the death of Aspen Shepherd. Authorities say that 5-month-old girl died last December. That suspect turned himself in Friday at the Hawkins County Jail, but bonded out with a $250,000 bail.
They really shouldn't make it so easy to just bond out. We already know what could have happened to that dude as soon as they found out that he killed a child. And I swear, it's like criminals have more protection than the victims, especially when it comes to child stories. The children are the most unprotected group of people in our society, and it's just a shame that it has to be that way. And here we have another story. It's called Five Saw in. Oh, this is actually not a child death or case. This is a case of a mother of two that was murdered, I want to say, during either a taxi situation, maybe an Uber situation. This was, I think, from yesterday. Let me see. Yeah, yesterday. It's called Five Saw in Murder of Georgia Mother of Two, and that's going to be courtesy of 11 Alive. So that tells me that's probably going to be in the Georgia area.
Whether you're curling or crunching.
Here they go again. Now I'm gonna start taking it kind of personally whenever they throw an ad in there with like some music or something. Let me go ahead and skip the ad and pause it, rewind, and hopefully it doesn't play again. Bring up the volume.
I'm Jennifer Bellamy. Right now, the GBI is looking for 5 people who they believe are tied to the murder of a 37-year-old mother of 2, Rosanna Delgado. That's one of the local stories we're tracking for you tonight. Delgado was reported missing 10 days ago while working as a taxi driver. Surveillance video shows the last moment she was seen outside of a Ross store in Chamblee. Police say they found her body last week at a home in Cherry Log. The GBI then released the names and pictures of 4 suspects, but they say they need help identifying a 5th suspect shown here in videos that you're going to see in just a moment right there. Anyone with information can contact the GBI. You can also use their tip line or the See Something, Say Something app.
Okay, they didn't really give that much information there. Let me try to see, because I want to say it was a like a taxi situation. Hold on. Mother of 2 murdered. Let me see. Did they even give her name? 1 second. Probably here.
Tracking for you tonight. Delgado was reported missing 10 days ago.
Delgado. Mother of 2. Google added in a word. This is why I have trouble researching things. Bear with me. Thank you so much for your patience. Just doing a little bit of research. Yes, she was a taxi driver. That's exactly what happened. I was right. Okay. Let's go ahead and continue on. I hope they do find everybody that's involved in that situation. That's terrible. Nobody should have to die doing their job. She's probably trying to save money or, you know, make money for her family, and she goes to work and she becomes a victim of 5 people. They haven't released any details of exactly what they did to her exactly. I'm guessing they're going to wait till they have everybody arrested, and then they'll probably give more information. So if I find anything, I'll of course post it. Here we have another sad case. It's called Little Babies Should Not Die. They Should Have a Chance. And that's a quote. Family of KPRC speak out following, and then that's going to be the end of that headline, and it is courtesy of WJHL.
Tonight, a Greene County 10-month-old is dead and a family is left searching for answers. You're watching News Channel 11 at 5. Welcome in. I'm Sarah Diamond.
And I'm Josh Smith. Cade Paris died last Thursday, according to his father, who said he found out about it with a phone call. The emotions that day, still just a few days later, are high as family and community members make echoing calls for justice. Kelly Grossfield spoke with Cade's father, who's dealing with the heavy loss and wants to know what happened.
Cade Paris would have been 1 year old in June, but now instead of celebrating what probably would have been his first steps, his family is mourning his loss. The Greene County Sheriff's Office is investigating this incident, but releasing few details at this time because of the sensitive nature of this case.
Little babies should not die. They should have a chance.
10-month-old Cade is gone, but the impact he left behind in his short time here is everlasting.
He'd always smile. He was always had a loving and caring personality for everybody. He quickly got attached to people.
And people also grew attached to baby Cade, with a number of people coming out Sunday night to a vigil at Veterans Memorial Park in his honor. Jack Paris, Cade's father, says his heart broke when he was told the news of his only son's passing.
I dropped the phone and I just pretty much curled up in a corner and just was crying.
Cade's grandfather was also in a world of shock.
First thing I thought about was that baby Evelyn case. Because when I seen that, I thought, man, I hope I never have to go through that with my family. The emotions were just, I'm still shocked.
News Channel 11 reached out to TBI and the district attorney's office in regards to their involvement in this case, and at this time, TBI officials say they have not received a request to assist in this investigation, and the DA's office says they are aware of the case and are working closely with law enforcement. Cade's father just wants answers, and he wants them soon.
Right now, the only thing I really want is just justice for my son, to figure out what all happened and what all is going to happen.
Cade's grandfather using this time to remind people to treasure their loved ones while they're still here.
So please watch their kids and love them, because it's still alive, but you never know what's going to happen.
At this time, no arrests have been made and the investigation is ongoing. In Greenville, Kelly Grossfield, News Channel 11.
So I went ahead and looked for an article because that obviously didn't give a lot of information. From what I understand is the father was at work. Okay, Nicolette, thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you have an awesome day at work. So as far as Cade goes, the baby, the father was at work, and I have no idea what, the situation of the mother is. They're purposely not giving that much information. So I don't know where the baby was, if he was with family, if he was being watched by a friend, if he was at a daycare or anything. So this is definitely a story that I'm going to be looking for updates, because right now we don't know much other than the baby is passed away and there's an investigation going on. So if there's anybody in the chat that's willing to help me real quick, I'm going to play a little bit of this video because it's not so serious. It's about a duck, and maybe there's talking on here, but I'm going to leave myself unmuted for a few seconds while I play this video, and I just need someone to tell me if you still hear echoing, because usually I have to mute myself to play a video. So let me know if you hear echoing. Whoever's in here that can just let me know. So this one is called Baby Mallard Duck Rescued in Salem, and this is going to be courtesy of WSLS 10.
Get this, the Southwest Virginia Wildlife Center also received an adorable baby mallard duck over the weekend. It was found hanging from a vine 15 feet in the air over the water along the Greenway in Salem.
Oh, he's cute too.
Yeah, right?
An animal control officer climbed the tree and shook it loose while a police officer stood below and caught it with a net.
So let me go ahead and just check. Hold on. I know.
All right, Margaret,
Let me just check something real quick. Okay, cool. So then that means that as long as I have my headphones on, then I won't have to like do the whole mute pause thing. Okay, thank you guys so much. I went ahead and went back a little bit, and I don't think I heard an echoing. Y'all are telling me there's no echo. So I'll go ahead and just try to continue doing it that way. So this next clip is a little weird. It's kind of serious. It's called Person Wearing Chewbacca Costume Wanted in New Orleans in Stabbing Incident. It was a cute duck, right? And I have a bunch of other like cute little animal videos too that I found from the last couple of days. So I'm going to play them. So this next clip is courtesy of WDSU News. Let me go back and expand and play.
All right, Margaret, thank you. You got to look at this. New Orleans police are looking for this street performer dressed as Chewbacca. You see it for yourself. He's accused of stabbing someone Saturday night in the French Quarter on Toulouse Street. Police said this happened after an argument. Anybody with information is asked to call Crime Stoppers, and remember, you can always call
So in that case, they're gonna have to probably rely on somebody that like knows somebody that has that Chewbacca costume and, you know, works with it, and see if maybe they'll drop a dime on that situation, because Chewbacca costume's not gonna cut it as far as a be on the lookout. You know what I mean? That is so crazy. Like, Chewie is like one of the most like loving characters on Star Wars, and he's out here stabbing people. Oh, that was crazy. I just had to add that in there. I know, right, Danielle? It's like a what the fuck moment. That was wild. So let's go ahead and continue on. I got a pretty hefty playlist. According to this, I got 33 more clips to go, but they're all pretty short, so I don't think we'll be here all night or anything like that. So the next video we're going to watch is former Christus, I'm not too sure how that's pronounced, nurse accused of murdering patients files motion to throw out his interviews with, and then it says Poe, but I bet you it means police. So let's take a look. And this is courtesy of KETK NBC.
At 4:30, a highly anticipated trial is starting to see some movement. The East Texas nurse accused of murder just appeared before a court virtually.
We're talking about 36-year-old William George Davis. He's the former Christus nurse we've talked about. He's accused of killing 3 of his own patients. As KETK's Rachel Hackbarth is here to explain, he's asking for some evidence to be thrown out. Rachel.
Trenton Casey, this trial has already been delayed multiple times, but today Davis is filing a motion to suppress his interviews with police. He claims they were recorded after he invoked his Miranda rights. Williams is facing capital murder charges. Prosecutors say he killed 3 of his patients at Christus Lewis and Peaches Owens Heart Hospital here in Tyler by purposely allowing air into their arteries. Today, the defense
Purposely allowing air into the arteries, doesn't that mean when they get like a syringe or a needle or whatever, and then they just like inject you with air? I've heard of that. Let me see if I could find out more about that. That's crazy.
is claiming that during the interrogation, Davis had asked for his lawyer, and at that point, police should have stopped questioning him, but they continued. According to the motion obtained by KTK News, Tyler police contacted Davis in February 2018 to set up an interview, and the next day, Davis told detectives he had representation. Experts say this is a very interesting area of the law, and the judge's decision will be difficult.
I think there's going to be a debate over 2 things. The first of which is that there's a debate about this gray area of the law.
Okay, so it's an air embolism, and I want to say that that's, let's see, it says a blockage of blood supply caused by air bubbles in a blood vessel or the heart. Causes of an air embolism include trauma, surgery, and decompression of sickness, the latter of which affects deep sea divers. So that goes to think about that story that we saw yesterday about the submarine that sank. This affected them, but I'm not too sure if it has to do with like the injection, because I've heard of that where like you know, medical professionals do that to like kill their patients. Let's keep watching this clip though. I'm going to keep looking into that.
Law. If this defendant didn't have a lawyer anymore, could he really still invoke his right to counsel for a counsel he doesn't have? And number 2, they're going to say that maybe he reinitiated contact when he called law enforcement again.
Now, this was today's brief virtual hearing. It lasted only around 3 minutes. Jury selection was set to start in late July, but those plans have been put on hold. Smith County District Attorney Jacob Putman is seeking the death penalty. Davis was arrested in August 2018 and fired in February 2019. At least 6 victims have been named in the case. In addition to the murder charges, Davis is also facing 5 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Reporting live in the studio, Rachel Hackbarth, KT.
Thank you, Rachel Hackbarth. Well, let's see. Let me look for a article about this, because I kind of want to know why they think he did that. The news very seldomly talks about how they get their information, but it's because it says he did it by injecting air into the arterial systems. I mean, injecting, he had to have used a needle. It says a bunch of legal stuff. I kind of want to know more about what he did. Murder and 5 charges of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. He was arrested April 10th, 2018, and remains in county jail, bonds totaling $6.75 million. He's a former nurse of the Christus Trinity Mother Frances Louis and Peaches Owen Hart Hospital. He was arrested in 2018, charged with murder. Let's see, for the death of a 47-year-old who was recovering from a heart procedure at the hospital. Let's see, trying to find out what he did. Killing 3 people and causing serious injuries to 5 others. He injected air into the arterial lines of patients. Okay, so I'm guessing he did that like externally, so maybe like an IV or whatever they put into you to, you know, to keep you healthy over there at the hospital. I don't go to the hospital that much, so I don't really know too much about what they do, but I know they usually have like needles and stuff poking in and out of you. But it says patients who were recovering from heart surgery, causing them to have stroke-like symptoms. Hospital officials initially informed law enforcement of 7 suspicious and/or unexplained incidents. So if this goes to court, I want to see it. What I also was gonna say is the clip that we just saw was more having to do with his interrogation. Apparently he lawyered up and the cops didn't care, or there was something going on there, and they kept questioning him, so his whole confession might get thrown out. Unfortunately, that's what we're dealing with here. So we'll keep up with that and see if we can find some more updates about that situation. I feel like he probably did do it. I don't know, obviously I wasn't there, but if they have evidence on him, I think they should be able to use it. It's just too bad that the defense is finding loopholes already to get him, you know, free from the situation. Let's continue looking at these videos. The next one is about a missing girl. It says Grand Rapids family searching for missing 16-year-old girl, and this is going to be courtesy of 13 on your side.
While searching for her this weekend, Jaria family say they learned she'd been spotted at York Creek Apartments and surrounding stores. They say they just want to hear from her and then bring her back home safe.
Since her daughter first went missing, Kiana Caston feels like she's been living in a nightmare.
I just want her to come home.
She last saw her daughter, 16-year-old Jaria Caston Mays, before going to bed on April 20th.
And she was like, okay, Mom, I love you. And that was the last time I spoke to my baby.
As Jaria's family and loved ones search for her.
You know how we always look at clips of missing people and like deaths and stuff like that, and then sometimes the people that are around like don't cry, so it makes us like suspicious of the story itself. When I saw this, I just felt like her pain. I could tell this is a real story. My BS meter was all the way up to sensitive and it wasn't going off. Just I could hear that in her pain, that she misses her daughter. It's really sad to watch, but I hope she comes home. I hope they find her. I hope it's not anything serious. Let's keep watching this clip.
For her, they learned that she'd been spotted at York Creek Apartments and at Cloud 9 this weekend.
Black hoodie, some jeans, and some white Air Force One.
Jaria's grandfather, Johnny Caston, drove from Jackson, Mississippi to help search for her. He had just spoken to her days prior.
You know, I came here to get her, and I need her here. I need her here so I can take her back with me. If she's going through problems here, maybe I can help her. That's all I want is her.
Grand Rapids Police says it has an open investigation, but said an Amber Alert was not issued based on Michigan State Police's criteria. Rachel White, Jaria's grandmother, says she wants her granddaughter to know how much she's loved.
And I'm hoping and I'm praying for her safety and her well-being. I just want her to come home. And we're going to do everything we can to find her.
Kiana Caston says she believes Jaria could be with someone she knows.
She needs to come home, and if it's a grown person with her, they need to let her contact me. That's all I'm asking. Because what would any parent want? I just want her to come home.
Anyone with information is asked to contact Grand Rapids Police. In Grand Rapids, Emma Nicholas, 13 on your side.
I hope they're able to bring her home. That family is obviously really sad to be missing their family member. But again, I'll keep an eye out for any updates. This next video clip is called Charlotte Mother Demands CMPD Find Son's Killer, and this is going to be courtesy of Fox 46 Charlotte.
Always appreciated you. Always will.
It has been a difficult month to get through for Malika Muhammad.
I know that you wouldn't want me to be sad, but I can't help it.
Her 22-year-old son, Isaiah, was shot and killed 2 weeks before his birthday.
It's so unfair. You didn't just take something from him. You took something from everybody who loved him. And we have to mourn that every single day. It doesn't go away.
The pain is still unbearable, and answers from CMPD about the case are slim.
Nobody seems to know anything. I don't know how many times Isaiah was shot. I don't know where Isaiah was shot at. The only thing I was told was that he was at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Police arrived at his apartment complex on Kings Ridge Drive March 15th to find 2 men shot to death inside a car and more than 50 shell casings on the ground. A third victim who was shot but survived showed up at the hospital.
This is not something that I asked for. This is not something that I would wish on anybody. You have a family as well. How would you feel if that happened to you?
We got to stop the violence. Even if it's violence against our own. Black Lives Matter.
Dr. Norma Gray is a community activist working with families fighting for justice in the Carolinas and says the lack of answers from police is unacceptable.
The police have answers that she deserves. She deserves to know how many bullets hit her son. There isn't an autopsy somewhere that she needs to have access to.
I will forever be hurt. There will forever be a hole in my heart. That's my first child, my only son, and
I don't know about you all, but that sounds suspicious as hell. I mean, it's sad what happened. You know, I mean, shooting violence happens, and it's just obviously so sad, especially when the police doesn't want to do their job, because the way they see it is, oh, it's like 2 people that were probably up to no good taking each other out, our job's done, you know. And but it sounds like they're also keeping the autopsy from her. We all know what they do sometimes with melanated people, and when it comes to like trafficking organs and things like that, I don't want to cause alarm or anything, but whenever I hear of things like this being like hidden and kept away from the public, the family most importantly, it makes me remember of the story of Kendrick Johnson, and look at what happened with him. He was exhumed and then opened up for further investigation, and they found his insides filled with newspaper, which is not even common practice by their own standards. So I definitely want to know what's going on here. If I find any updates, you know, I'll let you know. I find it just really suspicious that they're just keeping this information from her. Whether or not they're being prejudiced about the situation, they need to do their job. If they don't like it, they can get another job where people don't have to count on them so much. It's just really sad to hear this woman's story, and she's not getting answers for her son.
I can't even picture living the rest of my life without him.
Now, Muhammad says she doesn't have any hate in her heart and is praying that the people who killed her son are brought to justice. She plans to file a complaint against CMPD to get more answers about what led up to the shooting.
My bad, I'm getting used to the whole mute-unmute thing. And the police have answers, and they're purposely and blatantly keeping it away from the family. That's just horrible. And then they wonder why everybody hates them. Let's continue on with these stories. Remember, I'm pretty good at keeping up with, you know, the news stories that are coming out. I have an account that's subscribed to nothing but like news stations and things like that, and I'm always scrolling on my phone looking for things. So I hope to keep up to date with the stories that I cover. If anybody knows any stories that I should look into, or if I'm not up to date about something, don't be shy and just let me know in the chat what to search for, and I'll get to it, and I'll make sure that we stay updated with the stories that I cover. The next clip is called No Bond for a Man Accused in 4-year-old's Death, and this is going to be courtesy of CBS 17. It's a short clip. One second. Here we go with an ad. Just 1 second, it's almost done.
No bond for a man accused of killing a 4-year-old girl. Milton Ray Horton Jr. appeared in court today. He's charged with murder. Police say that little girl suffered severe injuries and died at the hospital over the weekend. In court today, the DA's office said Horton was alone with the girl at the time. They say he admitted to police that he hit the girl in the stomach. The attorney's office has not determined if this will be a capital murder case.
Oh, that's terrible. Oh my God, that makes me so mad. I was just thinking too, if anybody has any like advice or input to like give me, I was kind of thinking maybe sometimes I would do segments of certain stories. At this point, I kind of like just doing like, you know, serious stories and then mixing in not so serious stories just so that it doesn't get too like sad around here. But if it would be more like convenient to just go on, you know, start a live with certain types of stories and then like end it, you know, and then do another live on other types of stories, if maybe that would be like better, because I do notice some channels kind of just focus on either child deaths or cold cases or like domestic violence, and I'm over here kind of just trying to grab like whatever I could find just to stay up to date with, you know, the most interesting and just crazy stories, some of the most like, you know, serious, sad stories, and I'm just kind of mixing them all up. So just let me know what you all think about that. I'm always open to hearing input, you know, advice, anything like that, as long as it's, you know, proactive and constructive and, you know, not abusive. You know, I know trolls are out there just waiting to knock me off my platform or whatever, but you know, I'm seriously just looking for some serious input. So let's go ahead and continue looking at these videos. Do Playmate Tessie story? Okay, let me write it down. Playmate, was she like a Playboy bunny? Was she like murdered, or well, I'm guessing she was murdered, right? And she's the victim. Okay, let's see. Let me do a quick search on her just so I can become familiar with what it is. Because if it's yeah, story, because if it's something that I can just like grab clips, I can, you know, just do a live on that. See, so anything like that, if you have any suggestions of any stories that I might not know about, you want to see, I could grab news clips, put them in order, present them, try to find like articles, anything like that. Let's see, so this was from January. It says Twitch streamer and internet personality Playmate Tessie is being slammed. She made fun of a cancer patient. She got disowned by her dad. She has okay, I'll look into it. This looks interesting. It looks like she's kind of a bully. So yeah, I'll definitely look more into her. Let me know anything else that you know that will help me, you know, get a more, you know, rounded out view of the picture of the story. Sorry. If you can't tell, I'm still pretty new to this. So let's watch the next clip. It's called Harp Seal Stuart Little, released back into wild after rescued by National Aquarium, and this is going to be courtesy of WJZ.
My parents are now grandparents.
So this is going to be like a cute little story about a seal, so it won't be anything too super serious at this point. Just 1 second, I'm going to let this ad play before YouTube uses it as an excuse to try to copyright claim me.
Temporary resident at the National Aquarium is back in the wild this week. Staff released Stuart Little on Friday at Assateague State Park. Harp seal was rescued in March in Ocean City.
After giving him fluids and treating his infections, Stuart, or Mr. Little, if you will, quickly grew to 70 pounds, was ready to head back out to the ocean. Stuart Little, the second seal released this year.
No doubt he's dining on fresh fish right about now.
Aw, how cute. Look, his little head's poking out. He looks kind of like the Loch Ness Monster right there. Oh, that is adorable. I hope he does well, little guy. I know what happens to seals, too, out there in the wild. It's really sad. But I hope he has a long life. He's so cute. Alright, so this next story is going to be a serious story. Actually, not that serious. This is more having to do with grand larceny, so it's like theft. But it's kind of an interesting story. I went ahead and watched it, and I couldn't stop watching it, so I knew I had to bring it to you all to share it with you. It's called Woman Charged with Theft and Grand Theft After Allegedly Drugging Men Across Miami-Dade County. And this is going to be courtesy of WPLG Local 10. And another reason why I picked this story is because, I don't know if y'all heard, but Cardi B says that when she was back in her stripper days, that she would drug guys and then jack them of their money, and she was getting away with it. Well, this is somebody that didn't get away with it, or it looks like they might not get away with it. So let's take a look.
Starts right now. Right now, 3:30, breaking the case. A woman accused of a high-price heist is now in custody.
The arrest comes 2 years after police say she drugged a man and took off with thousands of dollars in cash and valuables. Local 10's Ian Margles joining us live from West Miami-Dade with this story. Ian.
We've heard this story so many times, right? A man and a woman go back to his place. They're having some fun, having a couple of drinks, and then the next thing he knows, he's waking up and jewelry, cash, it is all gone. That is what this woman is being accused of, and she's facing some serious charges because of it.
Sydney Compton in a Miami-Dade courtroom on Monday facing new charges stemming from what police say was a plot to steal cash and jewelry from unsuspecting men.
They've now added a burglary with a battery.
According to an arrest affidavit, Compton met the victim at Sugar, a rooftop bar and lounge in Brickell, back in August of 2019. Then the two left the bar and went to the man's apartment nearby. The victim told police he and Compton started having a few drinks and then, quote, after a few minutes, they went into his bedroom where the victim went into a deep sleep. Hours later, he woke up feeling like he had been drugged and seeing that his Rolex watch, along with $2,000 in cash, were missing. And so was Compton. For almost 2 years, she...
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like her hair. I like this purple. Here, let me make it bigger. It's probably not gonna be for everybody, right? But I like this. I kind of like how that looks. I might do that for myself. But she's bad. That's a bad lady right there, stealing money from men.
She evaded law enforcement until mid-April 2021 when she was arrested and officially charged with grand theft for a different but very similar case.
And then she was rearrested.
She bonded out of...
Do you all recognize this judge right here? Every once in a while on YouTube I get recommended this video, probably because of all the true crime videos that I watch. But it's her, and she is the judge for this man that she went to school with as a kid. And he was so overwhelmed and he was crying. He was very emotional to see his childhood friend, and she's the judge and he was unfortunately the criminal. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have seen that. It always gets recommended to me on YouTube.
Of jail on that charge, but was picked up again on the 24th while she was at Club Komodo and charged with this case.
So Compton just paid her bail on this case, but I have just learned she has now been charged with another case of grand theft. We are awaiting the details on that one, but according to her attorney, she may not be even getting out of jail today. Will likely be back in bond court again tomorrow, facing this third case. We will keep you updated.
And so will I, because that's an interesting story. Last time I mentioned American Greed, and I am interested in those types of stories too, and it involves true crime. And this next video is a skunk who had a cup trapped around his head, and they're attempting to rescue it. It's called Watch Arvada Police Free Skunk with Cup Stuck on Its Head, and that's going to be courtesy of 9 News. It's going to be an ad. 1 second, please.
Really?
Right,
Oh, it's a little funny.
I know, it is a little funny. We're coming, buddy.
It's way over here. Let me make a bed.
Here, I'll give you the honors. You can record it.
Okay.
The honors is saving the skunk.
Okay.
Not recording it. The guy's all scared.
Oh, a milkshake?
Was he talking about a milkshake? Oh, look, she's rescuing the skunk.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, I hope he doesn't spray her. Yeah, slowly just walk away. Hopefully he's following her.
Oh, he's got his tail up. Bye, buddy.
Oh, she told him to go find his family. I saw one clip, it was like, it went viral. I'm pretty sure it went viral, and the dude was so scared. He was literally running away from it. Yeah, I know, nobody wants to get skunked. I mean, I wouldn't either, but it's just funny that the female was the one that went to go do the risky part, and the guy like stayed way back, and all he was doing was filming. So I thought that was kind of funny. Alright, and this other video isn't serious either, it's just something that happened, but I thought it was kind of funny. It's called Beer Spilled on I-530 After Tractor Trailer Overturns Monday Morning, and that's going to be courtesy of KARK 4 News.
Take a look at this. This morning near the Whitehall exit on Interstate 530, a semi transporting beer overturned on the southbound exit ramp, tossing a lot of beer onto the interstate. These photos sent to us by a viewer. No injuries were reported from the accident, and at this hour, traffic is flowing again, though, judging by the pictures, maybe a few dry neighborhoods.
Crazy. Look at all this beer just gone to waste. I like beer. I'm not an alcohol abuser, but I do enjoy a cold one every once in a while, and that's a sad sight. But whatever, let's continue. Now this is another serious story. I think there's going to be a couple of them back to back. Yeah, let's try to get through them because this is going to be really sad. This is called Eleazar Mendoza, charged with 20 counts of sexually abusing young girls, detectives searching for more. So this is another reason why I want to cover a story like this, because hopefully someday, I mean, if things go well, I hope for this channel to have, you know, a long reach of viewers someday. I know I'm just starting out, and I thank everybody for bearing with me while I go through this learning curve, you know, with technology and things like that. But someday I would really like to be able to reach a bunch of people with a positive message, and also with true stories of crimes that need to be solved. If this man has more victims out there, they should know that they're not alone, and that they could do something and make a difference if, you know, they have the strength to do it, because I'm sure being a survivor of an attack like this is really difficult to go through, much less stand up to your abuser. So I feel like I want to cover these stories. I might not be able to get to each and every one of them, but if it turns out that there's more people that need to be aware of it because there's more victims out there, I'm definitely gonna put everything aside and make sure that I get this covered. Hi, Observing Stuff, thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to hit the like for me, please. I think I already went ahead and called out the headline. This is courtesy of CBS Los Angeles.
45-year-old Eleazar Mendoza is facing 20 counts of sexually abusing children under the age of 10, and Riverside police believe they're
under the age of 10. And then when I was watching this clip, I was like, 20 counts, like that's probably a lot of people. So my mind automatically went to, okay, is he like a youth pastor? Like, is he around, does he have a job that involves children? Is he a bus driver? Is he a teacher? Is he like a coach? Like right there, he looks disgusting. He's not even wearing a shirt. We know what he's done. But, you know, the clip will explain more about the situation. That was just kind of the questions that I was thinking when I was watching it the first time around.
maybe even more victims. An investigation started after a female told police Mendoza started sexually assaulting her in 2010. Detectives say their investigation uncovered 4 more victims. All 5 say they were assaulted when they were minors between 2004 and 2016. Detectives say the victims include relatives and young family friends. Anyone with any information.
Relatives and young family friends. So basically nobody was safe around him. This was not happening outside the home. This could have been happening under the roof of well, his roof or people that he knew and relatives who he allegedly loves. Everyone says they love the relatives, right?
Information is asked to call Detective Christy Arnold at 951-353-7945.
And there's the number. Sorry, I muted myself, but I talked a lot of shit about him. I was just saying that, of course, that I hope if there are more people out there that are his victims, that they do reach out. And the worst, I mean, he's from California, so at this point, from what I understand, California is not even executing at this point. I want to say that they're, by the looks of it, they're trying to empty out their prisons and also keeping people from, you know, getting in and staying in for too long. California is turning really crazy since, you know, I lived there last. So let's see what happens. As maybe some of you remember, Pearl Fernandez in the Gabriel Fernandez story is trying to use the law to her benefit, and she had originally agreed to a plea deal where she did life in prison without the possibility of parole, and now she's trying to use the laws that are being passed to her benefit to, I mean, for what else? She's probably trying to get out. Hi Emmanuel, thank you so much for stopping by. We just saw a really disgusting story about this man. He's gross, and if anybody knows anything, don't be one of those people that's like, oh, I won't snitch. No, this man deserves everything he has coming to him, especially if it's true what they say about what happens to men like him in jail. This next story is about Gannon Stouch. Some of you might remember the story from, I want to say last year, Queen covered it. It's about a little boy who, according to his stepmom right here, went to a friend's house and he never came home, and then they started looking at the stepmom in the situation. I want to say that the father was in the military and I think he had to go away for something, and the biological mother was getting help herself over something. So the little boy unfortunately ended up with his stepmom, who originally said that he might have run away, and then she left the area, and when things started to get kind of hot, like on her trail, and it turns out that she is wanting to represent herself in court. So I have a news clip from, I want to say probably yesterday or today. It's called Gannon Stouch Murder. Letitia Stouch loses access to jail law library for up to 90 days. And this is courtesy of CBS Denver.
The Colorado Springs woman accused of murdering her 11-year-old stepson lost her library privileges at the jail for up to 90 days. 37-year-old Letitia Stouch plans to represent herself, and most of the case against her can only be accessed at the jail library. Court records show she twice refused to use her scheduled library time, a violation of the jail's rules.
So she was scheduled to use the library so she could help herself to some knowledge on how to deal with her case, and twice she passed on it. So either it looks like she's either probably giving up on her own case, and she's probably going to end up going ahead and allowing a professional attorney to take her case. If she's not using the library time, she's already trying to figure out how to get out of this some other way. It's probably turning out to be too much work for her. Let's go ahead and continue looking at this clip.
During a hearing in February, the judge repeatedly tried to convince Stouch she would be better off having an attorney. Katie Johnston for CBSN, Denver.
Katie Johnston appears a lot on a lot of these clips. I think she covers like Houston too, and New York, LA. She probably works for CBS or something, and they just like have her cover different places. Alright, so I have another clip here about some duckies, so let's get ready to look at some cute little duckies. It says, ducklings rescued from drain, and this courtesy of Fox 4 Now.
Utah Highway Patrol is celebrating a successful rescue in South Salt Lake. Troopers Burr and Faust were able to get into a very tight space, as you see there, and they got a family of ducks out of a storm drain. No word yet on how they noticed the ducks were even stuck in the first place, but my goodness, they're so cute, and we are glad that they are safe.
I'm glad too.
And if you want to learn more about our Protecting Paradise series and read more about our own environment back here in Southwest Florida, just head over to fox4now.com/protectingparadise.
Awesome. All right, let's let this try to play. Okay, so this next clip is called Massive Sandstorm in Mongolia, and this is going to be courtesy of NTV Houston. That's crazy. I see these all the time, but every time I see them, it just reminds me of the end of the world. Like, if it ever does happen, it's gonna look something like this. Or like tsunamis. Just nature's crazy. And what sucks is that people are like breathing that in, which is really bad for you. Damn, that's wild. This is in Mongolia. I don't know where Mongolia is. Sorry you guys, my geography's not up to par. You're like, where is Mongolia? East Asia? Interesting. There was a spa shooting in Atlanta in March that killed 8 Asian people. Yes, the suspect claims that the reason he did it is because he was, what do you call it, like addicted. He had a sexual addiction, and according to him, those spas, I don't know if he went to them and for those types of services, but for some reason he equated those spas to his sexual addiction, and he like shot them up. He went on a spree. But I saw a video from an independent like YouTuber who claims that in the same area there are strip clubs. So in his mind, he was calling bullshit because he's like, if that was the case, then why didn't he hit up the strip clubs too? If they are for sure like part of the sex industry, you know what I mean? So I'm not too sure where they're at right now with the information. You know, if I find out anything, I'll definitely post it. Prince capital punishment. The thing is, I want to say yes because I want to put myself like in the shoes of the family and the friends of the victims, and sometimes just the crime is just so egregious and heinous, and it just really upsets me that some people get to live after really, really good, loving people have their lives stolen away from them, and on top of that, to the rest of the working into the system. So I really don't think that certain people need to be allowed to live. If there was another solution, Alcatraz didn't work, putting them on an island didn't work. So if there was some other solution, I mean, I'd love to hear it, but at this point, I think capital punishment is gonna have to work for some cases. It's scary though because some people are absolutely like end up being innocent and they're unjustly jailed, and unfortunately that's a risk that is taken when capital punishment is an option. That's what I think. I can't at all imagine saying like, oh, this person needs to be rehabilitated for going on a crime spree and victimizing all these people. There's child rape, there's child deaths, there's, you know, egregious crimes, all kinds of things, and I just think like the worst. So for those cases, yes, I believe in capital punishment. Let's continue watching the scary apocalyptic looking video. But thanks for asking me questions. It gets me thinking. Something that if I found any, to continue covering it. So I found out